The government has listed cessation of movement into and out of the 5 counties that had been locked down over the surge in COVID-19 numbers. President Uhuru Kenyatta says the de-escalation of the measures following the reduction of number of cases in the zoned areas. In his Labor Day speech, he also announced that schools will be reopened as scheduled on the 10th of May. The nationwide curfew has been revised. Curfew hours will now run between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. countrywide.
The zoned areas comprising of the counties of Nairobi, Machakos, Kiambu, Kajiado, and Nakuru, it is directed that the cessation of movement into and out of the zoned areas be and is hereby lifted. 2, that the hours of curfew in the zoned area are revised to commence at 10 p.m. and end at 4 p.m. with effect from midnight on this day of May 2021 until otherwise directed. 3, that in-person and congregational worship shall resume in strict fidelity to the guidelines issued by the Interfaith Council and the Ministry of Health. However, the attending congregation is still capped to 1/3 of the capacity of the place of worship. And that 4, the operations of restaurants and eateries in the zoned areas shall resume in accordance with the guidelines issued jointly by the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, and restaurants are indeed encouraged to utilize outdoor spaces to maximize on physical and social distancing. For the entirety of the Republic of Kenya, it is directed as follows: that 1, all our educational institutions in all levels of learning shall reopen in accordance with the calendar issued by the Ministry of Education. And 2, that the resumption of sporting activities shall be guided by the regulations to be issued by the Ministry of Health jointly with the Ministry of Sports. 3, that all bars in the territory of the Republic of Kenya are to operate until 7 p.m. And I repeat, 7 p.m. 4, all employers and enterprises are encouraged to allow their workers to work from home, with the exception being with respect to employees working in critical or essential services that cannot be delivered remotely. And 5, that all hospitals are directed to limit the number of visitors for hospitalized patients to 1 visitor per day, to 1 visitor per patient per day. And 6, that the prohibition against political gatherings is extended until otherwise directed. And 7, that all other containment measures and guidelines that are not expressly set out in this address remain in force and shall be enforced dutifully. Fellow Kenyans, these measures that we institute today and all other interventions that the government has made over the last 14 months are geared towards responding to the unprecedented health threat that has gripped the world. I want to once again reiterate that we have instituted these restrictions with no joy. However, as a government with the responsibility and the mandate to protect the lives of Kenyans, we must fully acknowledge that that responsibility that is bestowed upon us calls for action to secure the lives of our people. Over the last year, we have witnessed challenges in other parts of the world, where the surge of infections has nearly led to the collapse of some globally acclaimed health systems. We see that happening even as we speak today. In moments like this, we are all called upon to make sacrifices for one another, for the collective good. It is never, and I repeat again, never the intent of government to make life difficult or unbearable for any of our citizens. Finally, as we prepare for the reopening of schools, let me emphasize again that our staying power in the fight against this pandemic is our greatest arsenal. I say so because if public responsiveness to health protocols goes up, then the possibility of further de-escalating the containment measures is within reach. Sadly, however, the opposite is also true, that a surge of infections will also necessitate an escalation of containment measures, a possibility that we all dread. So let us step up together for our motherland. We stand on the precipice of a very difficult situation, ladies and gentlemen. And it pays nothing to politicize or to sensationalize it. It is your life and the life of 50 million Kenyans that we are talking about here. If we partner and work together, we can maintain both the health and lives of our people as well as our economy. But if we fail to play our role, our individual role, like I said, like it or hate it, my responsibility is to protect life first. We shall and we will do everything that is necessary to prevent what we have seen happen in other countries happen in our country. So, ladies and gentlemen, please be honorable, distinguished, and patriotic citizens of your land. Tell your fellow Kenyans, teach your fellow Kenyans. Nobody enjoys the situation that we are in. But if, and I repeat again, if we are not able, because of our selfishness individually, to maintain a situation where we are able to protect both life and economy, then, like I said, we have no choice but to protect that which we are fundamentally bound to protect under the Constitution, and that is life. So we shall escalate, but we can de-escalate if we work together as Kenyans and we are able to continue life as normally as possible, while at the same time protecting each other from the kind of dangers that we have seen happen in countries that are much more advanced than we are.